go ahead and call this meeting to order, and I don't see any adjustments to the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Okay, Chantel, indigent.
Yeah, Chantel Latwulu with Indigenous Services. The first case that I have for you this morning is case number 2018-0310. Our recommendation is an approval of this application. It appears that the applicant meets all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. This case was placed in suspension on 9/11 of 2018 pending a final determination of a possible resource. It now appears that Bannock County is the last resource for this request.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case number 2018-0310.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
The next case that we have for you is case number 2015-0292. Our recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 31-3502-25. This application was placed in suspension on 8/26 of 2015, pending a final determination of a possible resource. Bannock County is not considered a last resource for this request at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we deny case number 2015-0292.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you. And Jennifer's not here yet. Adam, go ahead and come on up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Adam McKinney, Chief Technical Officer. This morning I'm just seeking a signature on the CenturyLink Total Advance Express amendment. This is for the Sheriff's Department. About 2 months ago, we had a surprise bill that came to us in the price of nearly 5 times the normal price of the bill. We found that we were under a contract, did some digging on it. We had been under a contract until May of last year. It expired in May, and CenturyLink got around to adjusting the price for us about a month and a half ago. So we went ahead and paid for that. It was a rate adjustment. This would take the bill back to the price point that it was, slight increase, but without the contract, our bill is going to go up from $430 a month to $580 a month. This will bring it back down to $480. It just does have a little bit of a consideration in there for price increases. We checked this out. As you know, we are in the process of doing an RFP on phone support service to bring all those contracts under a single contract. Once that's done, the next thing we'd like to do is we'd like to start investigating moving away from these PRI lines to SIP VoIP lines, but I've got to do the one before I can do the other. So this contract would bring us back to pricing, lock us in for at least 3 years, and there is no penalty should we decide to terminate or to move to SIP. And in fact, in discussing this with CenturyLink, they're very excited to offer us a SIP price point. We've got quite a few competitors, so when we take this out to bid, we'll have plenty of competition. Yeah, lots of competition for it. So this basically just re-ups that contract, brings us back to the similar pricing that we were already experiencing. So that's basically it.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the CenturyLink agreement as presented.
Have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes.
When do you have RFP going out for all that?
So the RFP for the phone service bid should be going out in the next month or so. We just started to finalize it. Should be pretty soon. Once we get that, I know it'll go into effect as of fiscal next year, and then we'll start one for the SIP lines shortly thereafter. So that will happen sometime in probably fourth quarter, first quarter of next year, fourth quarter of this year. And that SIP VoIP transition will drastically reduce the pricing on this. These PRI lines, in the first investigation that we did, our phone service provider told us we don't want to go away from these, but in doing more investigation, we're finding that they don't even sell this type of service anymore. We're still grandfathered in, and it is considered quality service, but these VoIP lines they're really the future. Yes. So we'll be able to bring those prices down.
Cool.
Hey, Adam, I had a quick question for you while I got you here.
Absolutely.
I had a fire district call the other day and ask about using the IPSCC grants for radio purchases. Can they do that?
No, in fact, the only two things that are specifically excluded in the IPSCC grant program are radio infrastructure and computer-aided dispatch, so Motorola Flex Spillman. Those are the only two things that we are currently unable to do on the grant program. There is discussion on that. It needs to be changed by our state legislature. Apparently, the FCC has mandated it's okay to use grant funds for that stuff, but the Idaho State Legislature has not adopted it yet, so.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Are you alone today?
I am.
You're up.
Good morning. You start?
You're up.
Okay. Misty Cancellation here in place of Jennifer Clark. We are requesting parcel numbers RPR 380-300-3900, which is Peshimeri Capital, and parcel RPR 4013-033-903 in the name of Shoshone Bannock Tribe. These are for 2018 taxes, which they should have been exempt. They are exempt since then. They actually purchased these in 2018, but they got put on the tax roll.
So who purchased them?
These are Shoshone Bannock Tribe and Peshimeri Capital.
Well, Peshimeri Capital, so state law under 63, 602A states that any federally recognized tribe may be exempt. So the Shoshone Bannock tribal parcel is, yeah, that's definitely exempt under that code, but I don't believe that we have the authority then coming from the state to actually be able, this Peshimeri Capital, it's not held in trust. It's just privately deeded ground. If we went and bought that piece of money, it wouldn't go to the tribe unless the tribe owns that investment group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was my understanding it was tribal, though.
Okay.
So
and it very well could be, but
Okay.
I would, but I don't believe that unless the tribe owns that group and that is held in their trust, I don't see how we would have under state law authority to exempt that.
I would have to look into that. I just actually got handed this.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sorry. I just, that was my only question because
I'm not,
the,
yeah, I
the
didn't get to
tribal
look into
property,
it.
the tribal property, that's a no-brainer, that's easy. But
Mm-hmm.
the other one is not, it's not held in trust and it's not, when I search the parcel, it just looks like it's a private holding group that has a parcel. And I don't,
Hmm.
and that's the whole problem, is for us to be able to exempt the parcel, it has to fit under one of those exemptions.
Okay, yeah, I honestly, I believed it was tribal too.
Tribal.
So.
Well, and it very well could be,
I'll-
because
I
I know
can
that.
talk to Jennifer.
Because I know the tribe has done in the past where they own some of these LLCs and these things, but, you know, it makes it not clean when it's not, you know, you see that it is the tribe that owns it. That's a very simple, that's just
Right.
that's a 63602A exemption. It's not a big deal.
Okay,
Well, pure and simple, Bannock County in the past didn't pay attention to that. And any property that is within the boundaries of the reservation, we haven't taxed.
Yeah.
That's all.
And the problem is there's fee simple ground out there that people just say, well, I'm a member of the reservation, I'm a member of the tribe, so I don't have to pay taxes, and that's not what the law says.
I understand that.
So.
Can we maybe table that and come back to that, to Peshimeri's?
Yes.
After I talk to Jennifer?
And actually, I would ask legal if you'd want to help
Okay.
in that, if there's any questions, because like I said, if they are owned by the tribe, that's not a big deal. It's, okay, that's what the law states, and that's what we do, but if they're not, I have a real, as much as
No,
I like
I
people, I'm not
understand
going to
that,
jail
yeah.
for them, because I don't have the authority to pay the taxes for that. I mean, that's just, you know.
Yes.
So given that, then.
I would just hold it until Jen comes back, or if we do some research.
Do the bottom one, that parcel?
Well, you'd have to split and divide the question, and you'd have to remove that from the letter of authorization.
Okay?
Okay, so I will get with Jennifer and then.
If we can just find out who the ownership is on that group, because if that group is owned by the tribe, that's,
I am under the understanding it is, but I'll try to get some proof for you
okay,
on that.
cool.
So, okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mike's not here yet, so let's go ahead and go to resolutions. So we have resolution 2022-7, which is tax cancellation request. We have resolution 2022-8, a tax cancellation request. Resolution 2022-9, tax cancellation request. Resolution number 2022-10, tax cancellation request. Resolution number 2022-11, tax cancellation request. And resolution number 2022-12, county road for state reimbursement. And this was the low subdivision in Lava. On resolution number 2022-13, county road for state reimbursements. And these are up on East Pidcock Road, Huckleberry Way, Gray Fox Loop, and Mogul Lane.
For clarification, all the tax cancellation requests, those are the ones that we're dealing with, the cleanup of House Bill 389.
Correct.
That's the one that messed up.
That we met with last week.
Yes. These are the ones that we already talked about.
Those are all 389 issues created by the state?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve resolution numbers 2022-7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12, and -13.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
This is what happens when the legislature gets a bright idea.
Yeah.
Mike, come on up.
We're rolling, man.
I was just texting you.
Sorry
Yes, we're
about
going.
that. I forgot the magic pens,
Oh,
and thankfully Elise was able to deliver them in the nick of time. Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Jaglowski. I am here to present to you final plat, Coyote Hollow Phase 3. Coyote Hollow is situated east of Income. It's a 101.25 acre subdivision. It is Phase 3 of 4, and there's 38 lots inside there. The agenda item today has 3 different items to it. First is the survey bond, and the survey bond is with Dioptra. The survey bond is a cashier's check to Bannock County that we will hold until the interior survey monuments are placed within the subdivision. Second item is a construction bond. Mr. Thurnagel is here to present a construction bond cashier's check in the total amount of $409,000, and I should say plus or minus. I don't know what the change is on that. And after-
63230.
Yes, sir. That is it. Thank you. The third item is, after those 2 things are delivered and concurred by the county commissioners, is the execution and signing of the final plat. Again, it's Coyote Hollow Phase 3. It's a 101 acre subdivision with 38 lots.
for the construction bond, just for the record, what all is being held off on construction right now? That must be complete for the bond to be released.
Thank you. That is a great comment. I shouldn't say this, I'd say a little bit better than half of the construction is completed. Out there, the roads have been cut in. I believe the stormwater assets, the culverts and whatnot have been placed. We are looking to put the final top gravel, compaction, testing, materials, I should say materials testing, and then asphalt on top of that. And then once that's done, then they'll make the shoulders and the borrow ditches and finish up the subdivision, signs and different things. So the last part of those items are being held back.
So just the main reason is just so we're good, so, because we signed today, they can start selling and building, right?
Well, they can, once you sign today, the plat will be recorded and the lots will be
I was just gonna-
cut into pieces. With respect to building, that becomes a building official's decision, and then we get into emergency services and make sure that we can get cars and
Yep,
vehicles in.
I just want to make sure that if we're starting to build and do everything, we don't have a runoff issue or any problems like that as we go forward in the, you know, the winter has been a little kind and, well, harsh to the skiers, let's put it that way. But if we get that normal, hit that bench right at the end of the year, you know, making sure that we don't cause a problem for ourselves by doing this. But if you're good with that, then.
Yes. No,
Okay.
I've looked at it. I looked at it probably the first part of December, right when everything really started shutting down. And, I mean, they got as much as they can in on there. I mean, the stormwater assets aren't in there, but the land has been contoured so the water will go into the natural channels as it's gone historically.
Okay. I think that's. I'm trying to see here. We would have to do all of them individually.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the survey monument bond for Coyote Hollow subdivision, Phase 3, as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Mr. Chairman, I would move the approval of the construction bond and signature agreement for the completion of work for Coyote Hollow subdivision, Phase 3, as presented.
That doesn't have a signature on it. We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman.
Just a minute. So this one doesn't have a signature line on it for the first one? The 2,500? We'll just sign here at the bottom of this page.
Yes, please. And sorry, that was my error. I should have asked Christie to put your stamp on there.
You ready?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the final plat for Coyote Hollow subdivision, Phase 3, and execute the signature as requested.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
There's your 400. Actually, give it to that. It goes to her. There you go.
Except for that, there's a juvenile.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you to Elise for bringing these over to me real quickly.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
They'd end up missing though. Okay, you got a check?
You got two
You got
checks?
two checks?
Okay, we're good to
I was
go.
going to say, I think there's three checks there.
Wait. All right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Cool. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
it.
And filled up like houses.
Are you representing the elections?
Yes.
Okay.
So this maintenance agreement is dealing with that folding machine that we bought during COVID. So we bought that, and Valley Office Systems was really great to help us find that quickly for that election. But they don't service that type of machine. So also with COVID funds, then we bought that letter opener and timestamp machine, and we got that through Quadient. Quadient actually sells and manufactures our folding machine. So when they came in and saw it, they said, who's doing the maintenance on that machine? Because there's no one around here that does it. And we said, well, we've just kind of been moving along with Valley with the guy that does the printers. So I had Julie put this on here so that you could sign it if you want. I don't really care which way we go. We're going to do one of two things. Either we sign this agreement and they come in and they do their regular maintenance program on it, or we will just fix it as it goes. And we could really see, so far we've spent about $500 on rollers and the time spent for this guy from Quadient to come and do some maintenance and repairs. So we could see which one we want to do. I don't really care. Julie doesn't really care which way we go. There are some parts in there that could be very expensive to fix that this would cover, or we just fix it as it goes. And so far, we've had that thing for almost 2 years, right? It'll be 2 years in May. And we've only had to spend about $500 on upgrades and repairs to this point. So it's a little bit of an expensive maintenance agreement, in my opinion, but it's insurance.
What was the total cost on those machines?
It was right around, I think most of them were right around $12,000. I think we ended up getting that one for $10,500. And so far, the treasurer's office has used it regularly, the assessor's office has used it regularly, and auditing has used it somewhat. And then, of course, elections uses it all the time.
What's the end of life projection on it?
It really doesn't, I don't know what the end of life is. Its duty schedule is right around 65,000 folds per year. And we did, that first year, 170 some thousand.
Do you know what you did in the last election?
What's that?
In that last mayor
No,
election?
in the first election, when we first got it, when we really needed it, when we had to do the all mail out, that year we ended up just under 200,000 folds and stuffs. Last year, we were closer to its duty cycle, right around 35,000.
I wouldn't mind doing it for a year and just have them come in, go through the whole machine. It's 2 years old, going on the third year, go through the whole machine. And then next
then
year,
we'll see.
we may not do it, but.
Because they will, that's exactly what I was thinking. They will give us what the cost would have been when they come in and do repairs and things. This would have cost you X, this would have cost you Y.
The last thing we want
And
to
then
do
we cancel it if it's not worth it.
We have elections coming up this year, and they're going to be heavy elections, like we know. And the last thing you want to do is break one of these, and with supply chain issues, try and find a folding machine.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
2 weeks prior to the election.
So,
I mean,
was actually thinking that exact thing. Let's throw it on there and see, and if not, we'll cancel it.
Yeah, if the machine has an end of life that is not driven by technology, because so it's not like it has a onboard processor or something like that that's going to be antiquated when the next Windows comes out. And so
Yeah.
as long as that's good and you can keep it serviceable, even if it's 10 or 15 years old.
Yep, I think we'll go that far.
So I'd say do it a year and see what actually comes out, because it's one of those things that on some of these machines, well, we've broken some in the past where one little doohickey was almost the cost of the entire machine, and it was under warranty, so we didn't have to pay for it.
There's money in the elections budget
Okay,
for it.
that was my next question. You saw
I wanted to
it.
be the Ernie guy today and say, is there money in the budget?
Yeah.
Too late.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contract for Quadient as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. Next, we have the contract for the fuel reduction grants. Everybody's looked over them a final time.
Yes, I believe Shanda made a change this morning to include under 14 to say the administrator will provide the county with accounts and records, so on. So that should be on both documents. That was the last thing we were
Yeah,
waiting on.
we talked about that.
We talked about it, it wasn't that way when it come back, but
Right.
anyway.
But
Shanda-
Shanda got with me Friday afternoon, and then Brian confirmed we were okay to make that change last night. So like I said, I think Shanda made that change this morning.
Okay,
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contracts as presented.
we have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 And I believe we had that same discussion when Charity was here too about we
Yeah.
did change them.
Yeah, she just didn't do it.
So I'm just saying it won't be a surprise to them,
Right.
or it shouldn't be.
And she sent it to them again with the updates. So,
Yeah, I hope that was okay. I asked Shanda to make that change because I figured then she could communicate
It's fine.
with you.
yeah,
what
she
was
was,
done.
she was busy doing it this morning when I walked in, so. All right. Next on our agenda, there's a notice of action on letters, tax cancellation request. This is the one that we did in BOE, and there was the others that we'd signed. So, just for the record that we'd had this before us. Motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the notice of action on the tax cancellation as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then there's some more notices of letters of cancellation, and these go along with the House Bill 389 again.
I hope they fix that this year.
I know. Was there any talk about that?
Yeah, there's like 4 different bills that they're hoping to fix it. Because they found even more problems that, not just in the budgetary, I mean, it's just.
Are there any bills that will fix it?
Well, they think so, I'm not sold.
Or are they gonna put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, and the problem is the smaller taxing entities are the ones that are starting to feel the shock because of how the budgetary cycle works. They didn't anticipate that certain, there were some people saying that there's certain entities that they're having so much affected by the budget, it's throwing them out of whack.
So what's the appropriate motion on that one?
Approve the tax cancellation as requested by the,
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the tax cancellation as requested by the assessor.
we have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have request for approval. We have 2 of our sheriff's office employees that are retiring, and to allow them to get their badge and their gun. Tad Bybee and Doug Armstrong.
It will be a sad day.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the authorization of the sidearm and badges as requested from the sheriff.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the consent agenda. There's salary rate approval forms.
For public defense?
No. Oh, I didn't see one.
Thought I took that down yesterday.
So, the first one is Wes Jones, And we're just changing to emergency director instead of emergency manager.
That
With
should be
no-
in there. I didn't, when you were showing me those earlier. Will you check with Christine, see if she's got that?
Elections,
Got it, took that down
elections.
yesterday. It's a.
Oh, right there, public defender.
Oh, okay, good. That must have been at a different step. Sorry,
And that's just a one-sided one.
because it's an October 1/1. So there was really no, it was included within the budget.
Okay, and that was a decision we made last Friday.
Right, right. Sorry, I just didn't see that one. I wanted to make sure it got.
Oh, it was there.
So.
Then we have certificate of residency. And then we have minutes from January 25th and January 27th.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. And with that being said, we are